And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's Monday. It's January 5th, 2026. And I wrote a check out for 2025 this morning, but I fixed it. I caught it. Anyway, hope you had a good weekend. A ton to cover. One of the things we have said to you throughout the years was Hugo Chavez and this Nick Maduro destroyed the country of Venezuela and destroyed all hope while taking people that were against them and torturing them, and they ended up missing. The last election, he lost. The winner had 70%, and they exiled him through the military. So we're thrilled. But let's do introductions first. We have a lot to cover there. What it means, what it possibly means, what we're not thrilled with as far as it's concerned also. This is serious talk on everything that affects you. We will do the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, what happened with Venezuela, the New York City mayor that's going to destroy that city. Lots to cover, and anything that matters. If you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed, and don't follow us on X, you should. If you'd like to email us, just be nice. By the way, we'll also put it on the YouTube channel of BizTV, as well as other podcast apps. So let me introduce. We have no agenda, no ulterior motive or bias. We are independent conservatives. And conservative, we simply mean we believe government should be efficient and effective and should not be running deficits. We're talking economics here. What a concept, ladies and gentlemen, huh? We don't believe in the corrupt. You know all that crap. We have no love for anybody in Washington, D.C. We have no love for Trump. We love his golf courses. We love some of the things he's done. But then there's the other side that we don't. We'll get into that in a bit. We think that the Democratic Party has completely blown up and lost their way. They are worthless drivel. We mean that. I have never seen anybody who tells you how much they care about the people, but give the people a middle finger on a daily basis. Higher taxes, more regulations, more rules and fees and fines and mandates, an open border, taking care of people coming through the border and leaving elderly veterans to die on the streets. Their corruption. Don't get me started on Joe Biden's corruption. They're a horror show. And unfortunately, they're being taken over by the worst of the worst. You got a Seattle mayor that's going to destroy that city even worse. You got this guy who pretended, and he's already kicking the Jews in the grapefruits already in New York City. And wait to hear the other things. But we're at $39 trillion almost debt, and it's brought to you by both parties on purpose, which tells me none of them really give a crap. But we have to pick things apart. We loved when President Trump won and beat Kamala Harris, who was going to be Joe Biden times 10. We loved the extension of the lower taxes. We love the less regulations, getting rid of onerous regulations. We loved the closing of the border. We're one of the only people that actually say the best outcome of closing the border, and that is the saving of lives. People were dying crossing rivers and in the back of trucks, and of course the media never reported because the media absolutely sucks. They are in the back pocket of one side, and that's a shame. That's a shame. But I digress. But there are things we don't love about Trump. And we've discussed that, and we're going to leave that out for today. That said, we have to discuss Venezuela. We love that President Trump had his military go in and take this scumbag out. We love it. We have been telling you for years, Chavez and Maduro, we always kept saying, how in this day and age can this happen? A country that was oil-rich, democracy, taken over by one slug named Hugo Chavez. By the way, he died of cancer, and I hope it was a bad cancer. And he destroyed the country, took over industries, kidnapped people who disagreed with him and tortured them and killed them. And then he died and this other prick takes over, and he was worse. Inflation is like 1,000,000%. That's hyperbole. You get the point. The economy, 8 million people at last count have fled Venezuela to get the hell out of there. He lost the last election in a landslide, and he, through the military, got rid of the guy. He's a bad guy. So there was a big bounty on his head, and we got him. And his wife. And he's in New York, indicted on all kinds of charges. I guess the terms narco-terrorism, and I think probably murder's on there too, but I have not gone through it as of yet. We're thrilled. And of course, we have to bring up the other side because, as we said, they're full of crap. Not that the Republicans are not full of crap, but in this case, you have Kamala Harris come out and say, you should not be doing this, you should not be going in there, blah, blah, blah. Biden-Harris put a $25 million bounty on Maduro to get him. So Trump goes in and gets him, and that's bad. So I just want to let you know from the outset, don't listen to a frickin' word these people on the left say. When they tell the truth, we'll tell you. When they're playing politics, we'll tell you. And this is laughable. This was a great move to get rid of somebody at a very important place, by the way. Go look where Venezuela is on the map. And by the way, go look to how much oil Venezuela has potential with. So we're thrilled. And the military, we're thrilled. And whoever did this, we're thrilled. And nobody died on our side. We're thrilled. Some got injured. And this guy's going to pay the price. We're thrilled. We're thrilled. And for the people of Venezuela, we're thrilled. Because they have a four-letter word now they did not have before this weekend. And that was hope. Hope. That a despot would never not be running the place anymore. Hope. Like North Korea, you have no hope. North Korea, there's no hope. You're going to live under the tyranny that goes on there. If you say something wrong, the Hellfire missiles take you out. He murdered his family with Hellfire missiles. But now what? So we love that the president did this. Love. Do we say love? Great. Because now we want to put together what next. And what we're not thrilled with, but we're going to give the, hey, let's see what happens opportunity. What are we not thrilled with? We're going to run the country? What? What do you mean we're going to run the country? See, on the other side of hypocrisy, we just mentioned the left, the right. The hypocrites are out left and right. Just so you know, many MAGA voted for Trump based on not being a neocon. In fact, they ripped the stuffings out of people like Dick Cheney. We're not going to do any nation building. We're not going to go in and do this, that, and the other thing, and we're not going to do this, that, and the other thing. So you take out Maduro, but you're going to run the country for now? Sorry, can't help you with that one. Not happy. Hypocrisy. And of course, the sycophants have no problem with it now. I'll explain up next. What does it mean to the economy, the markets, where it goes next, and then we'll do the markets. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So, President Trump ran on, I am not a neocon, I'm not into nation building, I'm not into going in and taking over, I'm not into this, I'm not into that, I don't want war, I don't want this, I don't want that. And of course, people voted for him, and what did they do? They blasted the Cheneys, the Bushes, that whole complex of what they called neocons. These are people that love getting involved, love intervention, love wars, this, that, and the other thing. And of course, there's a bunch of hyperbole in there, but that's okay. But now, we're going to run Venezuela? See, here's my problem. There is a man that won the last election with 70% of the vote. We should be out of there, and that man should be running the place, and we should have nothing to do with the place at this point in time. We got the guy we wanted to get. That's it. But no. So we have now found out that Donald Trump, who said he was this, is not. And now we'll see what outcome. Now let me explain myself. I'm rooting for him. I hope it comes out right. I'm not going to sit here and pounce on him every day for this. I'm not going to sit here every day and jump on him and call him this and that. I'm rooting for it to come out right. But there's a bunch of buts. They didn't do this because of drugs. Let's state facts, ladies and gentlemen. They did it because of oil. That's not ours. In case you don't know, none of that oil is ours. We had companies in there mining that oil that got kicked out. It's not ours. I don't want to hear it's ours. And if we go in and try to take that, then we're thieves. But let's see what happens. All I know is what I'm hearing from the president is we're going to run it now. We'll see how it goes. I think I'm in complete disagreement with it. And then what do we hear? Mexico may be next. What? Mexico may be next. Greenland we need. What? And then he says these words, we're going to be dominating. What? Dominating who? What? You catching my drift? So I don't want to hear from anybody on the right how the president is not a neocon. He's big neocon. He's big interferer with other countries. He's big into the takeover. But, as I said, we'll give him all the room to run with this. And we wish him well because he just did a great thing for the Venezuelan people. And I don't know where this is going to go, but we'll find out soon enough. I am completely against going further than they should. And as I said to you, this was not about drugs. Do you know how we know it wasn't about drugs? President Trump just pardoned the ex-president of Honduras who was convicted, not indicted, convicted of trafficking in 200 tons of cocaine. This is about oil, and that's the worry. And what are my other outcome worries? Well, it's the others. Think about this. Mr. Logic is now talking. We're trying to talk Vladimir Putin into leaving Ukraine. Vladimir Putin now, I ain't going nowhere. You're going to run Venezuela? Up yours. We're going to do what the hell we want to do. We don't want to hear from you. By the way, we're not equating the two. Vladimir Putin invaded. We have not invaded. We just took a guy out. But you get my point. These bad guys, any excuse. Xi, you know the whole story about Taiwan. You think Xi is sitting at a table right now thinking, well, they're saying they're going to run Venezuela and they're going to tell us not to take Taiwan, who we believe is ours anyhow. See where I'm going with this? It opens up the spigots. And then what if? Who's the next president? And what are they going to do? I brought up tariffs. What if the next president's a lefty? And he walks in and says, well, we're at $45 trillion now of debt. By the way, that's what we'll be in 3 years. Not my fault, but we're $45 trillion of debt. And you know, the president put all these taxes out there. Well, guess what I'm going to do? We're going to put on a tax, a one-time tax on your wealth, or we're going to add 3% to this or 2% to that, and we're not even going to go to Congress. Do you know why? Because President Trump didn't. He set the table for us. See where I'm going with this? It's called be careful what you wish for, because you don't know who the next person is going to be. So we do not like some of the precedents that have been put in front of us now. As far as outcome, I have to tell you that the oil explorer stocks were down today. The oil refiners and the big oil were up nicely today. That's the way it goes. We're also being asked, wait a minute, oil prices were up $1 today. Why would oil prices be up $1 today if we're going to have all that oil? Well, that's because it's going to take a very, very long time on that oil, and we don't know who, what, where, when, how, and why. And in case you don't know, you should read about it. The type of oil is the sludgy type oil that we use most. Called the sludgy, muddy type oil that we use most. So, outcome on the oils beats the heck out of me. All I can tell you, the Schlumbergers, the Halliburtons, the Valeros were up nicely. The Fangs and others were down. The Explorers. Why? Who needs to explore anymore if we have all that oil? So that was the outcome today on the oil front. I just want you to, let's wish them well. Let's hope they do the right thing. We will report to you if they don't. We have no agenda or ulterior motive bias. We are thrilled for the Venezuelan people. Up next, we'll put a bow tie on it on one more note. Hit the markets. This is the one only Investor's Edge. Just a couple of more notes on us all. Do you know there are a bunch of people out today protesting to release Maduro? When you think about this, despot, dictator, iron hand, torture, murder, stealing elections, destroying wealth, plundering the wealth. Yet the same people that were doing a no kings protest on Trump are doing a release Maduro. What a bunch of ass clowns. Think about this. What do they do when they're done with their day? And what do they do when they go home at night, these clowns? Think about this. So you have a bunch of lefty crackpots protesting to release him while millions of Venezuelans are rejoicing in the streets. Who do you want to hang with? Just want you to remember all this. By the way, these are bought and paid for protesters. They just switch signs. Outfits pay them. It's amazing to watch. I had to bring that up. Next, outcome. Just letting you know, some South American airline stocks were strong today. There's a company called Mercado Libre that is South American. It's a trading products and services, allows business to. That was up 8% today. So you had some moves. And just so you know, you got Copa Holdings, which is Copa Airlines CPA out of Panama, and you got symbol LTM LATAM Airlines. It's South America. By the way, that's at new yearly highs, that one. So you had that reaction too today. And let me just finish up by saying I love that they got this guy. I think I've actually brought this up maybe 100 times throughout the years. What's happened to Venezuela. And I gotta believe that the scumbags in Cuba are doing some Xanax right now. I've always been amazed that Cuba has remained this repressed and depressed place, and nobody ever could or did something about that place. We'll see how it goes. You know where I stand. Market had a big gap up again today. I don't think it was because of Venezuela. I just think we came into the year lying in the weeds. We had a major gap up on Friday. Today's the second day of the year, and you had another gap up today. We were actually up over 800 points on the Dow. Remember what we've told you about the Dow. Two stocks, what was it, Friday? Two stocks were 375 of the 319 points. Well, those two stocks today were 50 times 6 is 300, about 340 of the 594 points today. And that's Caterpillar and Goldman Sachs. And just remember, it is price weighted, so something like a Goldman Sachs is 24 times more important than Verizon. Other stocks in the Dow today that were strong, you got JP Morgan, American Express. It was a good day for the financials. Amazon's been very weak, but that bounced $6 today. Chevron, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention that big oil up $8 today. Duh. I'm going to guess, and I haven't looked at it yet, Chevron was part of Venezuela and the taking out of oil from there. By the way, you know I'm the skeptic, right? The big oil stocks were getting a bid on Friday. And the president slipped and said he let the big oil companies know beforehand. No, I'm not kidding. He actually said that. He didn't tell Congress, and actually I'm good with that. I don't trust that other side. But he told the big oil, and I can tell you on Friday, Chevron was up nicely, Exxon was up nicely. Nothing going on there, right? But strong day today, could have been better. Had another gap up in the semiconductors today. Not all. I can tell you NVIDIA, weak. With the NASDAQ up 160 was down. Broadcom even weaker. Was down 4 and change with the NASDAQ up 160. Micron was finally down. They hit some of the electronic contract manufacturers today. They hit some of the, what else did they get today as far as that area? Some of the fabless semiconductors today. Things like that. Celestica, A-Lab, things like that. Jabil Circuit was down $17 today. So that was roughed up. But overall, Financials, very strong. Very strong. Market ain't gone down, if that's the case. Semiconductors, the SOX was up 79 today. That said, at one time today was 75, 77, 130, was up 209. So that probably got a little worn out today. I don't think it's a big deal. I think most are still in shape. But you two big gap ups 2 days in a row coming out of the box in the year. Bouncing today, insurance. That's kind of financial. Some of the economically sensitive. And may I state for the record, remember on Friday I said my left screen, that would be the lesser tech, which was so bad on Friday, much better today. Could be that tax loss selling may be over, not sure. But pretty decent move out of some names, but I already been scanning them, and it's just a lot of bear market rallies. Crypto. Remember we've been saying bear market, but in the last 6-7 weeks, holding the lows that you can draw a line underneath? Well, we broke above today a little bit of first resistance. Does not change the overall complexion, but probably changes the near-term complexion. I don't want to say the low is in. I'd like to say a type of low is in on the crypto for whatever reason. We never know why this thing goes up or down. It's crypto. Gold and silver. I have no edge. Today it gapped up. 2 days ago it gapped down. The day before that it gapped up. The day before that gapped down. I don't have an answer for you except to say gold is still trading above the 50-day moving average. A little bit above the highs of October. The gold miners, little bit above the highs of October. Silver, much stronger than gold, but whipping all over the place. And recently I've been mentioning this palladium. I don't know why, but just showed up. And platinum, and just the gaps to the upside and downside, I'll just call them insane. 7-8% moves. I have to add in copper now, as copper looks like it's ready to go into new yearly highs. So those metals, mining, thingamabobs, also of note in here. And just so you know, I get a lot of people emailing me on the moves in gold and silver, and they all say, oh, that's going to be really bearish for the stock market soon. If it is, we'll know it. Hasn't happened yet. And I got news for you. When the banks are going to new high ground, and regional banks, even better, not as good, but better in recent days, very little chance of the market croaking. Of course, if the trading of these things start to change, we'll let you know. But man, Citigroup up 460, Morgan Stanley 460, Schwab up another deuce, Goldman up 34. Remember, that's the highest price name. Bank of New York up 4. BlackRock had a good day, about 3%. Some of those companies that invest in other companies and bring them public, a very good day. Up next, yeah, we'll figure it out. We got more to cover. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. I was going to spend some time blasting the heck out of the Seattle communist mayor and the New York City communist mayor, but we'll save that for tomorrow. And I have to say, it continuously has me asking the question, what in blue hell are the voters thinking? What do they think is going to be done for them? from two misfits. We'll cover that tomorrow. Also of note, just a few things. Just want to let you know the S&P is still, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the 10th week of range. Simple as that. Has not moved at all. Little down, little up, has not broken out, and underperforms right now because Broadcom acts bad, top 8. Apple acts bad, top 8. Microsoft acts bad, top 8. Meta acts bad, top 8. Netflix is top 10 and is toast. Tesla had a better day today, but had a bad day Friday. NVIDIA, in case you don't know, NVIDIA is basically now range-bound since August. Hit a high in August of 185, it's 188. Now, it did rally up to 212 very quickly, but right back down. I consider it one big gigantic base, really going back to August, with one shot to the high. That's not helping. Google's been the stalwart and doing nothing wrong. It's sitting for the last 6 weeks. So the S&P is not broken out. And by the way, Apple, really bad action today also. The NASDAQ, you ready? Has done nothing since beginning of October. Up 0.5%. In fact, let's go to mid-September, up 2%. So even that's back and forth. But I do want to give it the due that the mega caps are holding back. NASDAQ 100 looks the same. The Russell 2000, very good hold of the 50-day in the last couple of days. Good move today. Not going to complain. The mid-cap 400, very good day today, back near the recent highs. And trying to break out of all-time highs, has not yet. The emerging markets ETF, EEM, gapped up on Friday, a little bit more today, into new high ground. I do want to let you know, it's not, in case you don't know, the EEM is flat from 2007. No, really. The EFA index, go look it up. That is new high and more of a little ascending move. Not bad. EFA index is up about 20% since early 21. By the way, it's up 13% from 2007. Imagine that. Think our market's a little bit better? China. The FXI is trading where it was last March. The China ETFs that are more internet-based are still about 15% off the highs of October and trading where they were last February. KWEB, CWEB. And by the way, we have to bring this up again. The FXI, you got to go back to, well, it hit 73 in October of 07. It's 40 today. Just letting you know. The FXI. It's been better to be here. Whether it has the moment in time where outperforms us big time, don't know. We'll see. Earnings this week, not much. But starts up late next week, and then for 3 weeks, boom, boom, boom. In fact, this week I don't even need to mention any names reporting. Nothing of import. Yields were down today. Want to keep seeing that. 10-year yield closed at 4.165. I don't want to see it go above 4.2. And by the way, every time it hits 4.2, it gets kicked in the teeth. And that's good. A break below 4.1 would be nice to see. So range bound there. Back on the oil front, was up $1 today. A lot of people email me, why? With all this oil potential? I have no answer. I have no clue. How's that for a good answer? I don't have an answer why. It is what it is. Advanced declines today pretty good. New highs picked up. Of course they're going to pick up. And the areas of note again, the metals, semiconductors, not all, financials, banks, regionals, S&Ls, and some other stuff. Gold, silver. And a better day for the weaker tech. I'm not so sure anything comes of that. I do also have to mention, if you're in them, fortunately, I worry about them afterwards. The froth has started picking up again. I think I mentioned that Friday. And that's the nuclear, quantum, drones, rare earths, Bitcoin mining, and all that crap. Just remember, they can go up for a time. Eventually, they all go back to where they came from. By the way, a lot of them dropped 50 to 60% in the last 2 or 3 months, but they're bouncing them again. As we're getting back a little bit of froth into the market here as we start the new year. And I think we've covered it. Tomorrow we'll do the Seattle and New York mayor because that'll affect you, by the way. You all have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family and hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Thanks for joining. And I know I've said it before, but Happy New Year. All my best. Bye-bye.